I keep missing the piece with the unmute. I got the whole streaming thing going and then I missed the unmute. I have our live, hey, good morning, Ching reading today, March 9th, 2022. Let me show you what it looks like. It's hexagram 7, adulting, into hexagram 2, which is homing. Let me see it there. So you see those yin lines and yang lines. We have one changing line today at line 2. It's an overweighted yang line that's becoming a yin line. It's okay if that sounds like gibberish to you. Let's get to the meat of it. The main hexagram today is 7, adulting. So you've taken form. There's been all of these hexagrams of emergence this week, this is the Oracle of Emergence, but there is this particular tone right now of this time of stepping forward into the outside world, that there's been that nourishment of winter if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, and now stepping out, emerging, budding. You've taken form. It's time to step forward and lead. Be resolute. The formlessness of puberty, which is hexagram 6, is tugged into adult form. This is a time to be resolute, to be resolved rather than dissolved. Step beyond the family and into the world. The way forward is increasingly clear. Follow through. First, apply discipline to yourself and then to others. Lead by example. Not by words, by actions. Let your solidity be felt. Demonstrate rigor. You have resources that will be revealed as you march forward. You're coming into your own and shaping your external circumstances along with you. We are always co-creating the world, all of it. War, hunger, poverty, creativity, joy. We are co-creating all of it. This is the hexagram of discipline and force. You're feeling yourself and are stepping into the world with a sense of mission. Goals are appropriate now. Grow up, show up. Pay your bills, reduce your debt, invest wisely, have a strategy, ask for guidance. Find the stern badass within. You're not just part of the family, but the world. You are one of the 8 billion rather than one of the 4 or so. To believe you're alone is to deny your own humanity. Belonging is our birthright, all of us. To believe you're alone is to deny your own humanity, your specific place in the ecosystem that envelops you. To believe you're alone shows an unwillingness to be responsible for the impact of your actions. They can be far-reaching if you attend to correct strategy now. Look at who is gathered around you. Are they people you can move forward with? Who are you currently leading and how are they responding to your leadership? Do adjustments need to be made? We're shaped by the people around us and the more than human world. They can lift us up or drag us down. Clear the corpses from the field. You have a clear vision of the world and your place in it. It will change, but not today. Today is the day to declare yourself president of yourself and see what campaign promises you can actually keep. Deploy your strategy with laser focus. Let your motion be brisk and confident, not rigid. This is a time for unfettered confidence. The deep skill here is maintaining a soft front to go with your strong back. Can you maintain permeability amid decisive action? That's a deep skill. Exercise caution regarding arrogance. Check yourself that your mission is aligned with the greater good. Rare is the moment for by all means necessary, but this is that moment. What are you responsible for? What are you afraid to be responsible for? It's usually the trickier question. Where are you squandering resources, including your attention, which is a very valuable resource? Shut it down, seal the leaks. You need every ounce of your life force for the tasks at hand. This is a moment for linear masculine drive. Do not hesitate. Demolish your to-do list. Where have you been reluctant to communicate your vision? That's a very vulnerable thing. When have you held back in stating a clear desire? What do you really want? Where have you not held boundaries around your time and space to move toward what you want? How has fear of rejection, humiliation, and failure limited you? Those are all great teachers. They should be invited in, frankly. Rejection, humiliation, and failure. Now is the time to stretch past those self-imposed limits and risk. Excise fear. There may be casualties. Losses are inevitable, really. But this is a time to stand on your parapet and fire away at encroaching enemy forces. Those who would deplete your resources are no longer permitted in the castle. Those who would take what is not freely given will be stopped at the gate. Where are you taking what's not freely given? That's an important thing to keep an eye on here too. Your ego's wild horses, hitched to the cart in puberty, the previous hexagram 6, are moving into the world with purpose and panache. Where are you willing to go? What are you willing to know? Sometimes it's like, that's actually the question that I always ask people before they come on the podcast, because on the podcast, I do personal Ching readings for people and they open into conversations. That's the Fuck Suffering with Ray Hance podcast. That's me. Because sometimes we do know, and the part of us that knows is in conflict with the part of us that doesn't want to know what we already know. And that can be both a tender and destructive war that goes on within us. What are you willing to know? I ask people that before they formulate the question that they come in with for the podcast, for the I Ching reading. Because the I Ching doesn't really mess around with half-assed questions. It can behave like a trickster in those situations. So really getting clear, what are you willing to know? So there's a transforming line, the second at line 2 here, which is what is connecting hexagram 7, adulting, with the enveloping second hexagram, which is homing. So the action that's coming forward in adulting is actually coming out of the deeper, wider, totally pervasive yin field. So it's almost like a sprout coming out of the soil. Like the homing is the soil and adulting is that sprout. It's like reporting for duty. So line 2 is, you're on the right path. Your actions are of service and you have the support you need to carry on. Do not get arrogant. What comes through you is not yours, but you are responsible for it. Follow to lead. We're always following and listening for the call of our part in the ecosystem. And then we do that, not what our ego wants to grab at, not the goal that we invented 5 years ago, but what's emerging in this moment. Make sure your ego stays aligned with and in service to the greater good. Check in with your people. Make sure everyone has the support they need to keep going. It's beautiful. So that's enveloped by 2, which is like yin, the feminine yin as a force of nature. It's the dark feminine, the magnetic, the receptive. 2, homing. You see, that's all yin lines. Those are all open yin lines. 2, homing. The dark loam in a magnetic field absorbs light and gives life. The nourishing dark, our original home. Welcome. Nothing impedes homing. Open lines all the way down. Nature's birth canal. We're pushed through, sticky and wet, over and over again. Concupiscent fingers on assorted skins. Lick them, taste dirt, your gut craves it. Receive the magnetic homing signal. It's being transmitted constantly. It can't be seen, but can always be felt. Attune to it, amplify it, Let it permeate and dissolve you. Let yourself be pulled. There's no need for pushing. So that's really interesting to think of. There's no need for pushing, but there's discipline and force required. So it's an interesting day. Like there's that forward momentum, but don't forget that it's coming out of the earth. Let yourself be pulled. There's no need for pushing. Face down in molecules and mud. Let yourself be held in the dark. Let your womb be an antenna. Mingle in the underworld of mycelium and soil. Notice the mushrooms that pop up overnight from the subterranean universe that quietly supports you. Taste the ghost pipe, that liminal plant. Don't be scared. You know how mushrooms like pop up overnight? There's a word in Robin Wall Kimmerer's book, Braiding Sweetgrass. She talks about this native word called pupoe. Pupoe. It's the word for that force that pushes the mushrooms up overnight. And this is a pupoe kind of day. The things that, forces that have been working invisibly and broadly underground are now being seen in the world. Taste the ghost pipe, that liminal plant. Don't be scared. I know it looks strange. Put it in your mouth. Eat shit like soil does. All beauty comes from this. Eat the blame. It nourishes everything once you metabolize it and stop pushing it around on your plate like a toddler refusing spaghetti. Homing is the moon swelling in your womb, connecting your body and the world, pulsing blood and brine together. Your pussy is the portal of birth and death, connected to all that is, all the time, even when you don't notice. You create and shed the possibility of new life with every lunar cycle. Its smell, its pains, its stains, its truth. Feminine embodiments are pretty used to standing at the portal of birth and death. We embody the cycle of surrender, whether we like it or not. Compost and creation, not comfortable, not optional. No enlightenment without endarkenment, says Joan Sutherland Roshi. Don't mistake composting for depression. When you let go of productivity, you are produced by life itself. Release your goals and preferences. Rest is fertile. Lie down and listen. And adulting, Hexagram 7 would say, and then know when to get up. Let that replenishment replenish your life force for clear action. Soften. Are there stones in you underground? Stones seem solid, but freely offer their coagulated stardust to trees who can only feed so much on light. Even a stone opens to receive the fingering of rootlets hungry for minerals, like she's been waiting her whole life for this, to be opened like that, touched there, used. There is no bright flourishing without dark nourishing. Collectively, we're dying of a fear of the dark. We're wilting under floodlights that demand constant growth. This is untenable. This much is clear. There is no path without dark nights of the soul. Those great replenishers need not be feared or resisted. Feel your way along the cave wall. Will you go deeper or get out? Either way, you're going home. Do you think you lost the way? Let those thoughts come and go. Can you rest in not knowing? Can you? Can you let yourself be guided by touch? Click your heels, Dorothy, then walk through moist and muddy places. Slide your foot into the suck and pull of the gestating bog. It will let you go when you're ready, not a moment before. No need to struggle. Sink down past the root of you until you find where you are not. Sink down up to your thighs. Open your throat and sing, or scream, or laugh. Open your throat. Say no. Meet your body made from mud. Surrender to homing like monarch butterflies migrating to Michoacan or Big Sur. Delicate and rugged, they navigate flawlessly. They carry the embodied memory of previous migrations they themselves didn't go on. They didn't need to. They follow ancestral song lines humming in their blood. They carry nectar in this lineage over time and space. What can't be seen can be trusted. Listen with your blood. Listen to gravity, grace, and moonlight. Receiving homing is a call to embody the rich and boundless ground from which everything emerges, the home of all beings, the womb we emerge from and return to again and again. Receiving homing is a reminder that you'll be received how you receive. It's one thing to meet the bog. How willing are you to be engulfed by it? How willing are you to be engulfed and replenished and nourished by it, and then have the psycho-spiritual metabolism to let that nourishment come back out of your system as nourishment for others? That's when metabolization is really complete, when it comes back out as nourishment for others. We're all called to do that now. Have a beautiful day. I'll see you tomorrow.